Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are diving deep into, well, a stack of your notes and excerpts from a book that makes a pretty bold promise.
hmm
Transforming marital intimacy, suggesting you can actually have a new sex life by Friday.
That's the one. Have a New Sex Life by Friday because your marriage can't wait until Monday by Dr. Kevin Leman. The title itself, it really doesn't hold back, does it? Aims for quick impact.
Definitely. And our mission with this deep dive is really to get to the heart of Dr. Leman's core ideas, pull out the surprising insights, and see what practical strategies he actually presents.
Right. We want to give you a shortcut, basically, a clear look at how this approach suggests boosting connection, intimacy, maybe surprisingly fast.
So maybe you felt that awkward silence when you try to talk about sex.
Or you're wondering where Mr. Happy went, as the book puts it, rather, bluntly.
Yeah, or maybe the last sex book you even looked at was like from premarital counseling ages ago.
Feeling like the lights must be off, maybe. Or, you find yourself watching sitcom couples kiss and feeling a bit envious while you're just eating popcorn on the couch.
Yeah. If any of that sounds familiar, then this deep dive is definitely for you. Because this book, it doesn't just promise good sex. It talks about wow sex.
Right. Deep, intimate connection, exciting communication, getting answers to those maybe embarrassing questions you don't want to ask out loud.
And building love that genuinely lasts. It's positioned as a miracle jumpstart
Yeah.
for intimacy that's currently maybe, ho-hum, non-existent, or even just fine.
And an important point right away, based on the book, getting this new sex life by Friday. It's not about finding someone new.
No, absolutely not.
It's all about working with the spouse you already love, learning to see things through their eyes, applying specific principles together.
Okay, so how does Dr. Leman actually suggest you do this, achieve this big transformation in just a few days? What's the structure?
Well, he breaks it down. It's a day-by-day approach, sort of a roadmap. Tuesday is about why men want sex.
Okay.
Wednesday tackles the intruders in bed.
Intriguing.
Thursday, it's making love with words. And then Friday, that's when you get to the exciting part. Spice it up.
All right, let's start with Tuesday then. Diving into what the book presents as these fundamental differences between men and women, Dr. Leman seems to think understanding these is crucial for intimacy.
Oh, definitely. He puts a huge emphasis on those core differences, like language, for starters.
Language? How so?
He suggests males often lean towards I language, focused on the task, getting the job done, maybe less on the relational side of things.
Okay.
Whereas females, he says, tend towards we. The focus is more on connecting, relating, feelings, and he sees this as a potential clash point if couples don't get that difference.
That makes sense. And I guess that difference might play out in how we process information, too.
Exactly. Dr. Leman talks about that. He describes males as often being intensely focused, processing info fast, getting the big picture, but maybe missing some cues or details along the way. He uses that analogy, the man clicking their remote control really fast, just flipping, looking for the main event.
Right, and women.
Described as more multisensory, taking in and sort of sifting through a lot more data all at once, which is thorough, but, can also lead to feeling distracted or maybe a bit overwhelmed by it all.
That's where that classic refrigerator story from the book comes in, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. The husband standing there, head practically in the fridge, yelling, "Honey, where's the mustard?"
And she just walks over and grabs it instantly because she's scanned everything already?
Exactly. A very relatable picture, I think, for many. And he ties these differences directly to the bedroom, too, looking at sexual timing preferences.
Okay, what did he find there?
Well, apparently, a survey he mentions found, maybe surprisingly, that many men preferred morning sex, while women often lean towards the evening.
Interesting. And the reasoning?
For men preferring morning, the book frames it quite visually, like seeing feminine curves getting out of bed. It highlights that visual stimulation aspect for men.
Got it. And for women preferring evening?
Often linked more to feeling fresh, maybe after a shower, and the whole romantic ambiance, the darkness, the quiet, linking back to that different sensory experience, perhaps.
Right. And he connects these gender distinctions to bigger marriage things, too, like commitment.
He does. For many men, he suggests, commitment is often shown through, working hard, providing. That's their primary language of commitment sometimes. For women, it's often felt more through being there, active involvement, emotional presence.
So the author really presents these as pretty fundamental differences in how men and women operate.
He certainly frames them that way, yeah, and uses anecdotes to illustrate it. Like, remember the story about asking a couple about their engagement?
Vaguely.
The man might just want the dates, how long did you date? When's the wedding? Job done. While the women involved, they launch into the story. The proposal details, the ring, the feelings, the families, the whole rich tapestry of it.
Right, right. Or the example about telling a boy something directly versus a girl.
Yeah. Tell a boy directly, you get a nod. Okay, understood. Tell a girl the same thing directly, she might get upset, and suddenly, as he humorously puts it, Mama Bear appears, wanting to know what happened.
He calls it the posse mentality sometimes, that collective female emotional response.
Exactly. It definitely gives you a lot to think about regarding those different ways of operating.
Which leads us nicely into Wednesday's theme, identifying the intruders in the bedroom. What exactly does he mean by intruders?
Well, he's basically saying it's never just the two of you in there.
Okay.
There are these other forces, internal things, external things that kind of walk into the bedroom with you and mess with intimacy.
Like our upbringing. Does that count?
Oh, hugely. The parents' rule book, as he calls it, how your folks interacted, was it respectful, did one rule the roost? He suggests that stuff deeply impacts your own views on relationships, gender roles, and growing up in, say, a really strict home or with critical parents. That can apparently lead to carrying frustration or inequality into your marriage. Maybe you become a flaw picker yourself, or struggle with being vulnerable, or feel this need to be in control.
That makes a lot of sense. And obviously past experiences must be huge intruders too.
Absolutely. Dr. Leman acknowledges the baggage, from previous partners or maybe casual sex, but he also really highlights the heavy impact of trauma, like childhood sexual abuse or rape.
Yeah, that's got to affect things deeply.
Understandably, yeah. He points out how those experiences can severely damage trust, self-worth, and just basic comfort with physical intimacy. He notes abuse leaves deep wounds, making it hard to trust, hard to feel worthy, and requiring incredible gentleness and understanding from a partner.
He also brings up things like masturbation and pornography as potential issues.
Yes. Regarding pornography, the book states its potential impact is leading to objectifying people and maybe fostering a craving for constant variety.
Right.
He suggests that regular viewing could potentially desensitize someone to their partner's needs, maybe lead to being more demanding in the bedroom. The core idea presented is how these things are seen by the author as shaping views on sex and potentially creating barriers in the marriage.
And then there are just the everyday intruders, right? The stuff that just grinds you down.
Oh, absolutely. Daily stress is massive. Workload for both partners, let's be clear. The kids, he calls them the ankle biter battalion. The endless chores, and just that feeling of being totally wiped out, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The two poop to whoop syndrome, as he puts it.
Yeah.
He paints that picture, the husband flipping channels while the wife is still doing dishes, planning tomorrow, folding laundry, helping with homework.
It really highlights how a woman's brain, often juggling that huge mental load, finds it tough to just switch gears and, get in the mood.
Which connects right back to those different ways of processing information we talked about earlier. It makes perfect sense, really.
Okay, so that brings us to Thursday. The power of words. Or, as Dr. Leman calls it, making love with words.
Yeah, this chapter really hammers home that communication and intimacy. They're not separate issues, they're totally intertwined.
Also.
Dr. Leman basically says the words you use all day long, they go straight to your spouse's heart, and they literally, quote, walk into the bedroom with you at night.
Wow. So how we talk outside the bedroom directly impacts what happens inside it.
Precisely. And here again, he brings up those gender communication differences. Men often described as minimalists, maybe grunts count as conversation, while women often need the narrative words, sentences, paragraphs. And when conflict pops up, he suggests men tend to pull back like it's a battle zone to escape.
Okay.
Women, maybe being more verbally adept, can sometimes accidentally overwhelm men. He has that really blunt observation, doesn't he, that when a woman talks a lot, a man might just hear blah, 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 because, as he puts it, the man purposefully tunes out to avoid what feels like conflict or just too much emotional intensity.
So given these potential pitfalls and how important words are, what's the practical advice here? How does the book suggest communicating better?
Well, he offers several key things. Listen before you speak, like really listen. Watch your attitude. It comes across loud and clear. Remember, your spouse's opinion is valid, even if you disagree.
Right.
For talking to men, he suggests being direct, maybe using a bit of humor sometimes. It can help bypass defensiveness, and understanding that women often share problems just to connect and be heard.
While men often want to jump in and fix it immediately.
Exactly, that classic difference.
The book also gives specific phrases, doesn't it? Things that resonate particularly well with men, showing respect and appreciation.
It does. He suggests women can use words that really affirm their husband's core identity and efforts. Things like, thank you for working so hard for us, or I felt so safe when I was with you. Or acknowledging his viewpoint, wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. Thanks for sharing your perspective. Even just simple anticipation. I really look forward to seeing you after work. He presents these as really powerful deposits into a man's emotional bank account.
The Q&A sections in the book also tackle some specific communication snags couples hit.
They do, like the really quiet husband. Dr. Leman suggests he might be starving for conversation deep down, but just struggles to get it out, which makes it hard for his wife to feel close sexually if she doesn't know what he's thinking or feeling.
And the disconnect.
Or the dynamic where a wife might get upset, kind of blows emotionally, but then she's over it really quickly. That can be confusing or even hurtful for a husband who might take it more to heart and stew on it longer. Workaholism also gets called out as a major communication barrier.
And that idea of a quiet wife maybe having put up a hefty locked door.
Right. Dr. Lemon's take is that if a wife clams up, her husband might mistakenly think, oh, good, problem solved, or she's just over it. But really, she might have just emotionally checked out, locked the door because she feels unheard or like she can't connect verbally anymore. It all circles back to his main point. You can't separate communication from sex life. Poor communication often equals a poor sex life.
So you need to talk about sex, even if it's awkward.
Absolutely. He pushes couples to talk about it openly, even if it feels like that taboo word or the big elephant on the couch. You have to address it.
And how does this tie back to that idea of men being visual and needing good presentation?
He uses it as an analogy for how you communicate. He suggests, basically, that how you frame something for a man matters.
Like the dinged car bumper example.
Exactly. Instead of attacking him about it, phrasing it like, hey, what could we do to help you judge the distance better next time? It's just better presentation, you know? More likely to get a collaborative response. It's about understanding his language and tailoring your approach.
Okay, this is all really fascinating. Let's move into Friday's big finale. Spice it up. This sounds like where the practical, hands-on intimacy strategies come in.
Yes, Friday is all about action. The core message here is clear that, wow, sex, the book talks about, it doesn't just happen by accident.
Effort.
It requires intentionality, effort, planning. Variety, he says, is the zest in the marital recipe. You got to shake things up.
He makes a point about foreplay versus the main event.
He does. He defines foreplay as that sensual connection, the stroking, the buildup leading to the act. The culmination is the physical act itself. And he really stresses how important non-sexual touch is for women throughout the day.
Like hugs, holding hands.
Exactly. Little touches on the back, things that make her feel secure, loved, connected. It paves the way for her to be receptive later on. And this is important, he says. Foreplay is just as vital for men, despite assumptions they need that buildup too.
What about that feeling some women describe, that sex can feel robotic or mechanical?
Yeah.
How does the book address that?
Well, he explains it by saying men sometimes approach sex very logically, almost like following steps in a manual or a playbook.
Yeah.
But women's sexual response isn't typically logical or mechanical like that. It requires the man to get out of his own head, try to see things from her viewpoint, read her mood, be gentle, be patient.
Right.
He emphasizes the goal isn't necessarily just for orgasm every single time, but creating this warm, intimate, relational experience where she feels genuinely cherished and connected.
The book seems packed with specific wooing ideas, and a lot seem aimed at men taking the initiative.
They are, quite a few. Simple things, really. Making dinner for her, drawing a bath, sending a thoughtful text during the day, a quick call just to check in.
Small surprises.
Yeah, flowers, or even just making that late-night run for Pepto-Bismol if she needs it. He makes a really strong statement about women. Foreplay is all about commitment. Meaning, a man showing he's committed in everyday life, helping with chores, being involved with the kids, that's part of what makes her feel close and receptive to physical intimacy later. It builds that foundation.
Okay, and what about for women? How does Dr. Leman suggest they spice things up?
Well, one key thing is advising women to show enthusiasm for sex, even if, you're tired or not instantly feeling it.
Why is that so important?
He frames this as a major insight, calls it secret hashtag 2, actually, because men apparently have this deep need to know their wives want to be there, that they're entering into it willingly and enthusiastically.
Ah,
And this connects to affirming his masculinity, which is sort of secret hashtag 1, by genuinely seeing and treating her husband as her romantic knight, acknowledging his efforts, his protection, his hard work.
and practically.
A very practical tip he adds is using calendar reminders for birthdays, anniversaries. He suggests this helps give the often predictable man a nudge, helps him plan something nice for you. It's about working with tendencies.
Beyond the wooing, what about changing up the physical act itself? Locations, timing, routines?
Oh, yeah, he encourages breaking out of the rut, try different places, not just the bedroom,
Yeah.
different times, not just 10 p.m., shake it up with quickies sometimes, other times longer, slower encounters. He briefly mentions common ones: missionary, woman on top, side by side, spooning, sitting, noting some potential pros and cons for each as he sees them, just ideas to introduce variety.
What about more sensitive topics like oral sex or fantasies?
Oral sex is discussed as something that can be great, but he really emphasizes it should only happen if both partners are comfortable and willing. It should never be demanded. Sexual fantasies, he mentions they're actually pretty normal for many people.
And how does the book suggest handling common life hurdles, things that inevitably impact intimacy?
He tackles several real-world issues: romance on a budget, get creative, popcorn and cuddling, a bath pack, drive-through makeout session, maybe even a naked dessert.
Naked dessert, okay.
Surprises like new lingerie, special food, candles, nice sheets, even mirrors, linking mirrors and lingerie back to that male visual stimulation aspect. He also talks about navigating aging, job loss, stressing the husband's need to still feel valued and respected, even if he's not providing in the same way. Coping with a new baby, acknowledging the wife's exhaustion and recovery needs, and the husband needing to step up. Even handling intimacy when one spouse travels a lot. The need for ongoing connection remains vital.
It definitely sounds like Dr. Leman acknowledges that some problems run deeper than just needing more date nights.
He absolutely does. He addresses more complex issues. Sexual loneliness, for instance, is discussed as something requiring extreme sensitivity, relearning intimacy patterns, needing incredible gentleness, and very often professional counseling.
Right.
Control issues get highlighted too, identifying controlling behaviors. He even suggests a pretty controversial experiment where the non-controlling spouse might temporarily withhold sex just to make the controlling partner see the impact their behavior has.
Okay. And pornography addiction.
Yes, he links porn use again to objectification and that constant search for novelty. He's very clear. If porn use is escalating or seems like an addiction, professional help is strongly recommended. It's beyond the scope of just spicing things up.
What about infidelity? That's a huge one.
He outlines steps for couples who choose reconciliation after an affair. It involves honesty, though he advises against sharing graphic sexual details to protect the hurt spouse.
Okay.
Completely cutting off contact with the other person, working together, maybe with a counselor, to understand the root causes within the marriage. Importantly, not talking about the details with friends or family. And seeking professional counseling is almost always advised.
And if you were the one who had the affair?
The steps are similar. Full disclosure, again, protecting your spouse from unnecessary graphic details, admitting you were wrong unequivocally, asking for forgiveness sincerely, and removing yourself completely from the situation and the person involved.
There's also that particularly blunt observation in the book about a husband's potential lack of interest.
Yes, in a Q&A bit, Dr. Leman directly suggests that if a man consistently shows no interest in sex with his wife, it might indicate deeper issues, potentially related to his feelings about his own masculinity, or even, he suggests, possible homosexual leanings.
Wow.
He presents this purely as a possibility the couple might need to consider, perhaps with professional guidance. It's stated as his perspective within the book.
So the overall message seems to be, the book offers practical tools, but some underlying issues really need professional help.
Exactly. Abuse, addiction, deep control patterns, persistent lack of desire. He consistently points towards counseling for those heavier situations.
Bringing this all together then, it really feels like the book's core argument is that you can't really separate a great marriage from a great sex life. They're, like, fundamentally connected.
That's absolutely the central theme. He argues you just can't have one thrive long-term if the other is neglected or struggling. He calls sex amazing marital glue.
Essential for holding things together.
In a unique and vital way, yes.
And it's clearly not just about feelings, is it? that initial spark.
No, not at all. He really emphasizes that love is a choice, a continual decision you make every single day, built through lots of small, consistent actions. He uses that lovely image of an elderly couple, wrinkled as raisins, celebrating a big anniversary, that's built on commitment and ongoing effort, not just fleeting passion.
I like that analogy he used about learning to use the different forks at a fancy dinner.
It's a great illustration, isn't it? You might not automatically know which fork is for salad and which is for dessert.
Right.
Just like you might not instinctively know exactly how to please your spouse in every single way, especially sexually. He uses his wife Sandy's love for beautiful presentation versus his own simple one-fork approach as an example.
Uh-huh.
It shows you can learn your spouse's unique preferences, their love language, if you will, and make the conscious effort to meet them there, even if it's not your natural default. It's about understanding and choosing to act on that understanding.
And that personal story he shared about choosing to give his wife needed alone time instead of pursuing sex himself at that moment.
Yeah, that's a powerful moment he includes. It really drives home his point that real love, the kind that sustains intimacy, often involves sacrifice. Putting your partner's needs, their well-being, ahead of your own immediate desires. It's not just about getting your needs met sexually, but about showing love through understanding and sometimes, yeah, selflessness.
Wow. Okay. So we really covered a lot today.
Yeah.
A whirlwind tour through Dr. Kevin Leman's framework for jumpstarting intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
understanding those gender differences he highlights, identifying the intruders that get in the way, mastering communication as a kind of foreplay, and then all those practical ideas for adding spice and being intentional, all within that promise of seeing results quickly.
It really does boil down to that core idea, doesn't it? A vibrant, fulfilling sex life isn't some separate compartment. It's woven into the very fabric of a healthy, intimate marriage.
Yeah.
It takes real effort. Understanding your partner, communicating kindly and effectively, showing appreciation consistently, and being genuinely intentional about creating connection, both emotional and physical.
And Dr. Leman leaves us with a pretty interesting thought, suggesting that maybe the two most important sexual organs you actually have aren't the obvious ones.
Right. Instead, he points to your heart and your brain.
So here's something to think about. What could potentially shift in your intimacy, maybe starting right now, this week, if you really focused your heart on loving and focused your brain on truly understanding and prioritizing your spouse in practical, tangible ways?